The vehicles are on fire. We need a fire department immediately.
I like want to smile because it's cool, but this isn't good though. So that was $400,000.
The van is a rental.
40?
Which is, yeah, that's a $40,000 van.
This is for $500,000.
Yep.
Ah.
So that car was a Ferrari?
Yeah.
That does sound.
That was a house. All the people in the comments are gonna be like, oh, he was like is staged or something. Dude, I don't even know where we're at right now. Do I even have insurance on this car? It's like the most minimal, like, we'll pay for other people's damage. I don't have full coverage on anything. They won't give it to me. They're like, he's gonna cause an accident and burn a car down.
What are y'all drinking this?
Yeah, so it was a total loss.
All right, folks, ladies and gentlemen, we have to come to grips with the sobering reality, the truth, which is what I aim to bring you guys in each and every video. The latest update, the Maui fire situation, and this multi-million-dollar loss driven by greed. So I want to share with you guys a clip or some clips. I'll do the best I can because I don't want to get a copyright claim from this other YouTube creator, but I can't help but wonder if we're going to see more of these instances where we're seeing fires happening.
You got it. It's all you.
Thank God. Wow. I can't believe how. Whoa.
Yeah. It's one of the most challenging nights of firefighting in our history. We fought hard last night to protect our community. Somebody described it to me last night in the heat of the battle as it was like 100 years of firefighting all at once in one night. And I really think that it was true. We fought 100 years worth of fires.
Unbelievable. Like get the whole house wet, right?
That's unbelievable. That quick.
And granted, they may not necessarily be intentional, but will we potentially see more fires happening because of the virality behind the keyword and term of fire? Intentionally set fire, arson, destroyed, displaced, destroyed crops, farmland, fertile land, which is actually very, very interesting in this particular situation because this just so happened to be a fire in a field.
An hour ago.
Not even an hour ago, 15 minutes ago.
Now, I don't think that there were any vital crops that were destroyed, but the likelihood that this fire could have actually spread, and fortunately, thankfully, no one was harmed, no one was hurt physically. And the fire department was able to locate these youngsters and put out the blaze and ultimately get their property towed off of the land is a good thing. But what if this field was full of corn or wheat or any other impact to our food supply on top of, granted, we know that we are in a digital age, a point in time where people are literally using social media and the media for their own personal gain by way of potentially doing things that they probably really shouldn't be doing. For instance, we had stories last year of people setting fires inside of Walmart.
The Atlanta Fire Rescue Department just releasing images of two people who they're looking for in fires intentionally set inside of a Walmart and a Target. Now, the last fire was set last night, shutting down the Target off of Piedmont Road in Buckhead for what could be weeks or even months.
Well, Jennifer, cleanup and restoration are underway after a fire quickly spread in that Target behind me, forcing it to be evacuated. And now investigators tell 11 Alive they believe this all started as a way to distract so people can steal.
Yeah, it's just, I think it's just careless. It's, it's just a disregard for life, disregard for property.
Atlanta residents expressing concern today after learning the fire set inside the Target off Piedmont Road in Buckhead appears to be arson.
Starting a fire, you can cause harm to not only the people who are shopping there, but the employees as well.
I just think it's vandalism, and
I believe that whoever did it, I hope they catch them.
According to Atlanta Fire and Rescue, the fire started around 5 p.m. yesterday on the first floor in the bedding section. No one was seriously hurt, but 3 employees had to be treated for smoke inhalation. This afternoon, investigators released photos of a person of interest in this case, along with another person of interest in a fire set at the Walmart in Vine City. A third fire was also set at the Walmart in Howell Mill, but no photo has been released of that suspect as of yet. But officials believe all 3 fires were set to allow people to shoplift and slip away, leading people to worry about the impacts to the community.
Atlanta does have a problem with food deserts, and so this target is one of the places that I know the people in the area rely on for things as simple as fresh foods, and there's a lot of college students in the area that use those for supplies, so it's definitely going to be an inconvenience.
Now, Target could not tell us exactly when they will reopen the store, only to say it could be indefinite or unknown amount of time. Now, we also want to say these damages to these fires caused by these fires generally cost millions of dollars, and this was the same Target impacted in 2020 when looters went in. At that time, the store was closed for several months.
Now, Peachtree City Police and fire say someone intentionally started a fire in a Walmart last night. These pictures show the destruction that was left over, but the body cam video walks you through the officer's perspective. As you can see right there, you see the carts are just left in the aisles as people had to make a run for their safety. And tonight, the Walmart on Highway 54 is still shut down and will likely be that way for quite some time.
Ron, they say that this investigation is just beginning, and even though they believe that this fire here was intentionally set, they would like anyone with information to give them a call. It's now an unforgettable Walmart run for Rashawn Fawn.
I kind of saw it and then my heart just started going.
He couldn't believe his eyes taking this picture at the Peachtree City Superstore.
The whole entire aisle was just filled with fire. Coincidentally, it started on the aisle that's most likely to be burned. It's like the toilet paper aisle, has plastic goods and stuff, plastic cups, plastic plates, toilet paper, paper towels and stuff like that.
A horrifying situation. Investigators now believe someone started on purpose. We asked the Peachtree City Fire Department about problems getting enough water on the flames. They say the sprinklers did go off and firefighters put in extra water during the fire.
There's obviously a lot of smoke and water damage, but in the area of origin of the fire, it's significant damage and a partial roof collapse.
Walmart tells us they're looking to place employees at other locations and don't know when the store could reopen.
It's really surreal, if anything. Not every day you see a fire in the building.
Something Fawn says he'll never forget. Fawn says that he was worried about making it out of the building because the flames were spreading so quickly. Crews tell us they did not get the flames under control until this morning.
Think that arson at any time is a good idea. Think again.
A 17-year-old and 15-year-old face arson allegations after allegedly setting fire to an aisle of merchandise at the Covington Walmart Supercenter.
The state fire marshal says the 2 Covington juveniles have been arrested.
Yeah, they say the teens have been booked into the Florida Parish's Juvenile Detention Center.
Meanwhile, the Walmart store damage on Sunday night remains closed indefinitely, impacting thousands who shop and work at the store every day. Maddie Kurt talked to some students who were inside the store when the smoke filled the air.
We are closer until further notice.
And then all of a sudden, we just started smelling smoke and burning, and then all of a sudden the fire alarm kicked in, and everybody ran out in a panic, and we were just what's happening? They're something's burning in the back.
The fire started in the auto section of Walmart on Highway 190 in Covington, sent hundreds running outside to safety.
And I was like, how? What? It's the middle of the night at Walmart. Why is something happening?
Emmanuel Hill says people were scared and confused. He and his friends returned to the store to see if there were any updates.
You just have people who just think it's fun to be irresponsible and do things that are not the smartest thing for a person to do.
With school out for the summer vacation, Ashley Rodrigue with the State Fire Marshal's Office says arson crimes often increase.
Summertime tends to be something that we will see statewide with arsons on the rise. Usually, it involves much more minor situations. This is a very serious situation. Hundreds of people were affected initially. Thousands are now affected long term. We have taken this seriously. This community has taken this seriously, and this is going to get resolved quickly, and that's the message that we have.
It isn't the first time a Walmart was set on fire on the North Shore. The fire marshal's office says Terrence Coe set fire to the paint aisle of the Hammond Walmart location on Christmas Eve last year. Thanks to social media response to his images caught on surveillance cameras, his identity was discovered within hours.
He ended up turning himself in because he told us he was so tired of seeing his face everywhere. So he just turned himself in.
Hill says the actions of these two suspects do not represent area youth.
And now they think since we're in there, we might start the same trouble they did.
Now, you guys remember this. You may remember this because I know I created at least 2 or 3 videos discussing this at the time when there were lots of headlines in the news of Walmart CEO Doug McMillon talking about how Walmart stores are going to raise prices and or close down because of theft.
So it's come to this. Walmart, America's biggest bricks and mortar retailer, has issued a warning about shoplifting. It's so bad that they may have to close stores, Walmart closing stores and raising prices. We're all going to pay for this. In the in the retail business, it's called shrinkage. How much of the stuff on the shelves is stolen? It runs to billions a year at Walmart, and the CEO says it's getting worse. This should not come as a surprise. How many times have we shown you people walking into a store, loading up and walking out without paying, and without a peep from security guards? It's okay to take up to $950 worth of necessities in California. That's just an invitation to steal. Many retailers are responding by locking stuff up. Razor blades, cosmetics, batteries, just about anything that you can walk out with. So you have to spend time waiting for someone to unlock what you want. The stores are getting killed. You just go to Amazon, don't you? It's easy to blame liberal district attorneys who take no action to stop this surge, and they do deserve some blame. But I think there's something else going on here. I think there's a change in attitude towards theft. It's now justified as taking what you are entitled to, and it's encouraged by laws which suggest that if you need it, you should have it. If this is the new morality, you can count me out.
With retail thefts on the rise, Walmart CEO says they'll have to start raising prices or even close some stores.
Yeah, John, good morning. Theft, of course, is nothing new, but the real issue here, the increase, is in organized retail theft when a large group goes into a store to take a lot of merchandise all at once and leave in a hurry. And that's happening at stores like Walmart. The CEO speaking out yesterday on this issue in an interview saying that these thefts could lead to prices going up, as you mentioned, even store closures. He indicated that that could be the case if prosecutors continue to have a lax approach to these shoplifting crimes. The CEO saying each store location has security measures in place. The other part of the equation is partnering with local law enforcement to hopefully correct this over time. This news from Walmart follows statewide efforts to tackle the issue. A retail crime task force with the California Highway Patrol has increased their presence at shopping centers this holiday shopping season to heighten visibility and make arrests. And that task force has had success since its inception. The task force has recovered merchandise valued at nearly $26 million. This video released yesterday by the LAPD shows that this isn't a Walmart issue. Back out live, rival stores like Target also seeing a major increase in retail theft this year, recently reporting $400 million more in losses this year compared to last year.
Lots of headlines in the news of Walmart CEO Doug McMillon talking about how Walmart stores are going to raise prices and or close down because of theft.
One of the issues we hear all the retailers talk about is what's happening with theft, with shrinkage, stuff that walks out the door. I've spoken with other retailers who have said this is a national issue, a state issue, a city-wide issue. Laws matter where these things aren't prosecuted. What's it mean to the bottom line? What would you like to see people in Washington and elsewhere do about it?
Yeah, theft is an issue. It's higher than what it's historically been, and we've got safety measures, security measures that we put in place by store location. I think local law enforcement being staffed and being a good partner is part of that equation, and that's normally how we approach it.
But there have been rules that have been changed that make it not something that the police are going to prosecute, or that the criminals won't be prosecuted below certain levels. Does that matter?
If that's not corrected over time, prices will be higher, and or stores will close.
And how much of that, though, do you have to go state by state
and actually work on that issue. I mean, you see videos now. I just saw a video of some burglars in the Apple store, just literally just take. I mean, it was, you know, taking everything that they could, and the Apple employees were told, you know, stand back and just let it all happen. And maybe that's the right decision in the moment, but clearly there's something larger going on.
It's really city by city, location by location. It's store managers working with local law enforcement, and we've got great relationships there for the most part, and that's the way we approach it.
So what would you like to see? What are the measures that, from the Walmart perspective and the Business Roundtable perspective,
overall?
Business Roundtable perspective, that you'd like to see policymakers working on right now?
It's just policy consistency and clarity, you know, so that we can make capital investments with some vision. Good luck. That would be nice.
And ultimately what happened was, at the time, these Walmarts were actually being set on fire by people trying to go viral on social media. TikTok, Instagram, Reels, Threads, Twitter, X, OnlyFans, who knows? And what they were doing was they were setting fires as part of some sort of challenge or whatever it may be. But then other folks, and these are not even the folks that were calling in the bomb threats or any of that craziness like that. Other folks were then strategically, which almost seems like it's unnecessary, because I'm seeing videos now where people are literally just walking out the front door of Walmart without even paying.
Taking all of the nicotine.
You can stay right here.
Also on aisle 1. Code 99, code 99. Yeah. Get a job.
Nobody act like they gonna take a picture of my license plate. You gonna get hit. You gonna get hit. Anybody get jumped up fucking car. Somebody put this shit in there. What, bitch? Stop grabbing people, you retarded!
Oh my God.
So I don't even know why they had to do this. Evidently they didn't.
Drop the knife now! Drop it now!
And after one more verbal warning,
drop the knife now!
the suspect was taken into custody and charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. She was taken to the hospital for evaluation, and authorities say she ingested methamphetamine earlier in the day.
But basically what they were doing was they were trying to set a distraction or diversion. So they would set a fire on the other side of the store and then steal what they wanted from the opposite side of the store, which is just ridiculous. It's unreal. So we saw this video. My wife and I saw this video last night, and this is after having listened to, or actually watched, a little bit of Dave Ramsey's highlights, and a wife had called into the show, begs on the Dave Ramsey show for her husband to sell his expensive car. Now, this expensive car happened to be a $300,000 McLaren. Now, I'm not sure of the model. But for 300 grand, it was probably a 720, maybe even a 650 LT, which, man, that thing's got a special place in my heart. But either way, she was begging him to sell his car.
I am wondering if it would be reasonable for me to beg, plead, ask him to sell the car to get us closer to our financial goals and get us further out of debt.
I mean, tell me about the car. What's the situation with it?
He purchased a $300,000 McLaren.
But she was begging him to sell his car ultimately because he was in a finance role, CFO for a pharmaceutical company, and ultimately he was getting laid off. But before he got laid off, he went out and bought this $300,000 exotic sports car that he then put half down, 50% down. He put $150,000 cash down on this car. And now he has a $150,000 car payment and expensive insurance. And they live in California. Well, he's unemployed, and she manages several properties that bring in about $225,000 a month in rent, which is crazy. Or maybe it's annually, but either way, she says she has several expenses. So ultimately, at the end of the day, she only makes $100,000 living in Southern California, while also carrying the burden and the weight of the rest of their household budget and expenses, and the husband driving a $300,000 exotic sports car. It probably costs at least $10,000 to get new tires on every 6 months.
There were items on the car that timed out, like, for instance, the fuel cell. They have a lifespan of 5 years, whether you use it for a day, an hour, or don't use it at all. In 5 years, you're required to replace the fuel cell. Same with the fire extinguisher. Same goes with the tires. Same goes with the clutch. The clutch is good for 2,000 to 3,000 miles, but they claim after 3 years you need a new clutch. So it's a timed out type of car. I sat down and figured out that this car, if I never drove it a single mile, would cost me $50,000 a year. So I thought to myself, okay, I paid $1.2 million. I've probably got a good couple of years before I'm going to maybe start losing money on this proposition. After about 4 months of owning the car and having it factory inspected, of course, I get the list with all the values of what needs to be done to the car, and it was $250,000 worth of work. And it floored me because this car had just been serviced 4 months prior to me buying it, and it just came back from the factory then.
And I mean, I think the Bugatti Veyron is like 25 grand to get tires, and then an oil change is like 5 grand or more. Maybe it's 15 grand for oil change. I couldn't remember because they got to take the engine apart, they got to take the turbos off, they got like 14 intercoolers on there, 12 radiators.
Bugatti oil changes cost so much you might even feel like vomiting after watching this video. The Bugatti Veyron has a so-called dry sump oiling system, pretty much meaning that it has more components and mechanisms for it to function as opposed to a normal Kia. The Bugatti Veyron has 16 different drain plugs compared to 1 in an average car, and to get to those drain plugs you have to remove tons of pieces from the underbody, in addition to other parts of the car. Because of this, it can take a shocking 27 hours to complete an oil change. But I guess that's what it takes to own a supercar worth around $1.5 million. Okay, so how much does an oil change cost for a Bugatti Veyron? Because on a normal car, it costs on average $20 to $60. But for the Bugatti Veyron, it costs a shocking $21,000.
So she was on Dave Ramsey's show begging, how do I get my husband to sell his car? He started this tech startup company, and it's not really going anywhere, and we're blowing through our savings. We're down to our last few dollars, and in my opinion, I've seen this happen before. A lot of these folks, what they do is they buy these cars because they think it's going to provide them with this status symbol that will ultimately help propel their business, but it doesn't. And I've actually seen it happen a lot on social media, particularly YouTube, where folks buy certain vehicles thinking it's going to build and grow a channel and an audience, but they don't. The people build and grow channels and audiences, and they connect. The cars do not. So in essence, it almost is fitting that we came across this video last night watching firefighters rush to put out a blazing fire started by a young millennial trying to get viral views for his YouTube channel, which he typically does. And he's actually been spotted doing some really good things for the community with his AMG G63 by pushing trees out of the way after they have fallen down over the roads.
Got Cody from Whistle and Diesel.
using the G-Wagon to push a fallen tree out of the road so we can get some cars by. This G-Wagon's crazy anyways, but there's a tree. It was completely across the road, a big chunk of it. And this guy with his construction truck has been helping out, but looks like we got a lane clear. He's one of the biggest car YouTubers in the world. What's his name? Whistle and Diesel. I know you guys. Good name, yeah. All right. You got a lane clear. That's it. Everybody should get a G-Wagon right now, today. Thanks, man. What's up, brother? Huh? All right.
But nonetheless, he has a reputation for really going over the top, and I believe his channel even says never ever clickbait, ever. And he delivered, because in the video, literally seconds into the video, you see his near $500,000 Ferrari F8 Tributo burning before ultimately being burned to the ground completely.
Phil. Through the car. Water. Get the water. Get the water.
And also catching on fire, the minivan next to it, I guess, was part of the film crew and all their other stuff that they had, because the Ferrari is actually not a very practical vehicle. It's a two-seater. It's got a front trunk or front, doesn't really hold much. So in order for them to, keep their Red Bulls and their camera equipment and whatever else they had in there,
I want my scooter, okay?
they needed that minivan to make that happen. So either way, 25-year-old from Argos, Indiana, this influence sets his $400,000 Ferrari F8 on fire, which I'm not sure where it is, but it does have Montana tags on the car. I don't think it was Montana, but Montana is definitely everybody knows the deal with Montana tags on expensive exotic cars. But the kid, he destroys his field, and literally the fire's about to catch everything on fire, and this blaze could go on for miles, square miles at that, potentially harming people. And then he even mentions, did you get my kids out of the car? He said.
Did anybody get my kids out? Wait, you brought your kids?
Good.
Base of the fire, base of the fire, base of the fire!
Everything! The van!
Bro.
Don't care about the cars. Fine. Just keep it from spreading onto the field, okay?
The vehicles are on fire. We need a fire department immediately.
It's in there. Seth, backseat! Backseat!
All right,
What happened today?
Yeah, guys, we f***ed up. I just lost $500,000.
5 minutes.
Seconds.
5 minutes.
5 seconds. That sucks. I think this is like a metaphorical sign. First thing is, like, at least nobody got hurt. I'm glad nobody was hurt. Did anybody get my kids out?
Wait, you brought your kids?
Guys, where are my kids?
No, I got both kids out. You're fine.
Killer have 9 kids.
He made reference that he had kids in the car and no one knew if they, or in the minivan, and no one knew if they actually got out safely. He also mentioned they didn't have any insurance, which is crazy to believe. But I'm wondering if we're going to see more of these instances happening in the future with fire and intentionally set fires and potential arson, and all for the sake of views and virality and clout. What do you guys think? Drop a comment down below. Let me know. Please smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And until next time, you guys take care. Be safe. I hope you have a great, fantastic, and amazing day.